No Naomi, about 10 seconds of Damien Sandow, and it's a really bad night if you're one of the guys from the League of Nations. Let's talk about the Go Home Raw for Payback. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check here with your Monday Night Raw review for the 25th of April 2016. Somebody put up a really nice graphic on Facebook earlier today that's like, you know, what would your perfect date be? Well, my perfect date would be April 25th because it's not too hot, not too cold, you just need a light jacket. And as somebody that went out and did a lot of walking around today, that's pretty much true. At least if you're in the Greater Toronto area. I don't know various other places around the world and whatnot. I don't know really why I led with that, but it's the go home show to Payback, which is fun, which is nice. Started off, I didn't catch the pre-show like I usually do, but yeah, we started off the show obviously with the R.I.P. China Joni Lawyer graphic. I will say I'm not plugging this the way I would plug a usual video. But I really do invite you to go check out my last video. Did a video on the passing of China. Did not intend it to be a 38-minute long video, but I had a bunch to say. I've gotten a really positive response from you guys for that, which is great. I don't really know what else to say. Go back to that video if you got memories or whatnot of China that you want to share. That's as good a place as any to share them. But that's it. And we, you know, the big debate, and you know, if you want to look at the political side of it, was WWE going to acknowledge China tonight? Yes or no? It's really a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation with the fans at this point. Not that I'm having pity on WWE, but if because they did, some people are going to be angry, and if they hadn't, some people would have been angry. So if you're going to get fucked either way, err on the side of being respectful and paying your respects and whatnot. Start the show off with Shane, who plugs Payback, talks about Payback this Sunday as the first, I guess the first Payback of his era, of the new era. You know, new superstars, new matches, we're going to have a lot of fun. Gets cut off by Stephanie McMahon. Now, the rumors were circulating all day. Well, two rumors were circulating all day about who was going to be on Raw tonight. One was Triple H, who did not come out with Stephanie McMahon, and the other, a bunch of people would have marked for, but didn't come out either. But Stephanie comes out and says, I really wish my writing didn't suck so much. Mocks Shane, calls him a panderer because they're in Hartford, Connecticut. She says, I was born here. These are my people. I'm Hartford's favorite daughter. You know, they're going to make a statue of me, this and that and the next thing. This is your last night running Raw because at Payback, Dad is going to come and tell us who's going to run the show. Somebody said, and I will admit, I think it was Chase Oliver. I'm not quite sure because it was a couple hours ago and my memory span is like this. But they said, why are we having what is essentially a Raw segment on a pay-per-view? My joking response was, at least it's not a Naomi match. Naomi versus Stephanie McMahon should be a thing, and I'm sure it'll be best for business. But in all seriousness, this could happen on a Raw. This could, you know, this could happen on the pre-show. This could happen whenever. I don't know how I feel about segments on a pay-per-view. You know, when you advertised Sting to show up at Fastlane to come out and tell us that he was coming to WrestleMania, that sort of thing. I'm going to be doing the preview like I usually do with Christian and Guapo sometime this week. We'll talk about this a lot more. It's an interesting thing to throw in the middle of a pay-per-view, a pay-per-view that, as we go forward, we're going to see is pretty damn stacked. Shane pulls the crowd, laughs at Stephanie, and says, you know, well, I'm here because they want me here. You know, obviously Dad is listening. It's time for you to go. He calls for security. Stephanie slaps one of the security guards, and that's the end of the segment. Says, now let's go on. Let's have some action. Calls out the phenomenal AJ Styles. We have our first match. Collar and elbow tie-up because, sorry, got ahead of myself. It's AJ Styles versus Sheamus. And as I said in the introductory bit, the three, because Bad News Barrett is gone, for all intents and purposes, the three remaining members of the League of Nations couldn't buy a victory tonight. This is just, I don't want them to win, per se. The only one I really want to see have any further really, really big success in the WWE is Alberto Del Rio, and that's just because personally I'm a fan. But we got Styles versus Sheamus in the first match. Collar and elbow tie up and a beatdown and a mud hole stomp by Sheamus. A back elbow and an uppercut by Sheamus. A drop kick and corner chops by Styles. Styles works on the arm and gets hit by a right hand by Sheamus. Chops and an elbow by AJ. Boot by Sheamus. Overhead key lock by Sheamus and a kitchen sink. Styles forearms Sheamus right out of the ring. Now, I know from watching other things, I've seen a little bit of ROH, I've seen a little bit of IWGP, and I saw a lot of TNA back when I was watching it. Styles can do more than what they're letting him do in the WWE. Now that's standard fare for anybody that comes to WWE, let's be real, but you gotta say that this guy can do more than the forearms, because it's getting annoying. But Styles forearms Sheamus out of the ring. Sheamus face plants the apron, which is nice, because, you know, as any good commentator will remind you, that the apron is the hardest part of the ring, and if you face plant it, you should, if you weren't in a PG WWE, have your face busted open, but it's still a decent spot. Styles misses a moonsault, and Styles eats the steps as we go to commercial break. Sheamus rides a headlock as we come back, and they trade punches. Irish curse backbreaker twice, followed up by a bear hug. Now that is decent psychology. Bury your kneecap in somebody's back twice before you lock them in a bear hug. Sheamus eats post shoulder first. Styles gets crotched and uppercut by Sheamus. Sunset flip powerbomb off the second rope by Styles on Sheamus is pretty damn impressive when you see which one is the big guy and which one's the small guy in that scenario. Forearm shots, there they are again, by AJ. Crazy punches and kicks like he does. Stinger splash by AJ. And some Daniel Bryan style stilly kicks in the corner. Power slam by Sheamus and a cloverleaf. Pele by Styles and some hard forearms. There they are again. Clothesline and a cloverleaf by Sheamus once again. Hangman by the leg. Hangman by the leg, which is really, really cool. Styles is out there on the apron, and Sheamus goes for the brogue kick. Brogue kick, you know, you miss the brogue kick, your leg gets caught up on the ropes, you look silly for a second. Now, whereas most people would grab the head, choke the head up on the ropes, the leg is already there, so he hangmans the leg. It's a nice, neat little thing. By the time he gets back up, he's eating a phenomenal forearm, and Styles gets the win. Gallows and Anderson are on the ramp, cheering on their buddy. But that's all they're doing, because here's the thing, there's a really bad storytelling thing that happens here, because Gallows and Anderson are on the ramp cheering on their buddy, and WWE has acknowledged that they're all friends and whatnot. Roman Reigns and the Usos are backstage, you know, talking about, see, look, those guys are backing up AJ, you know, it's a big, you know, talking about it like it's a big conspiracy, like this guy's winning matches 3-on-1, when all his friends did, like, you know, and obviously this story's going to go somewhere else later on, I get that, but in this moment, you know, they're all pointing at the monitor like, see, look what they're doing, look what they're doing. And all they're doing is standing up at the top of the ramp congratulating their buddy. So it's a little off there. New Day comes out to plug the tag team tournament final at Payback, which means that the New Day, as far as I can tell, are not having a match at Payback, which kind of sucks. But we're going to get the Vaudevillains versus Enzo and Cass. They talk about it for a while. They joke around. The Vaudevillains come out. Aiden English sings and cuts a shit promo. Enzo and Cass come out and essentially do what they do. The best thing is Enzo comes up with a thing in the middle of this, and I tried to write down some of it so I would remember. Obviously, I didn't write down. This is going to be like me writing down a Bray Wyatt promo with Enzo, isn't it? I'm going to pick one or two good lines out of it. But he says, you guys want to be #1 contenders, and I want to run down a beach and run into my own arms, and neither one of those is going to happen. Which is fine. They do the soft thing, and Xavier Woods closes out the segment by saying, no matter which one of you wins, we're still going to be the tag team champions. Nobody fights, nobody brawls, nobody attacks the champions, nobody attacks each other. I love seeing Enzo and Cass out there to do their comedy shtick. I love seeing the New Day out there to do their comedy shtick, but this segment was pretty much pointless, other than just to remind you that this match is happening on Sunday. We get the announcement to loud boos that Cena is returning on Memorial Day. Yay, he was supposed to be gone 9 months, and he's coming back on Memorial Day. The Usos versus Anderson and Gallows, which is great. Which is one of the things that I was looking forward to going into this week, considering that the rumors of who else was going to show up tonight didn't really happen. But Anderson and Jimmy start the match trading punches, chops in the corner and a sling blade by Jimmy, chops in a corner spear by Jimmy, chops by Jay, slam by Anderson and a beatdown and an enziguri to Gallows, clothesline to Jay by Gallows and a mudhole stomp. Anderson works over Jay's shoulder. And from here on in, the story of this match is Jay's shoulder. You know, he was out because of a shoulder injury. He was taken out by these guys 2 weeks ago. It's all about the shoulder. The shoulder's wrapped, we're telling the story, the commentators are doing their thing. You guys know me. Stuff like this, the psychology bit, it's not always the most forefront thing. Like, obviously, I want to be entertained. Obviously, if there's some badass new thing out there, if something cool is happening, if something funny is happening, that will take over. But something like this, the psychology is really, really good. Armbar by Anderson, arm drag by Jay, body avalanche by Anderson, boots and jabs by Gallows, shower of elbows by Gallows, elbow to the throat by Anderson, and another armbar. Arm breaker by Anderson, Jay and Gallows trade punches for a while. Seated key lock by Gallows. Gallows tosses Jay off the top rope to the floor, hitting the floor and the rail at a very awkward angle, shoulder first. It's good. As we go to commercial break, uppercut in the corner to Jay by Gallows, clotheslines to both men by Jimmy and a Samoan drop, and the running ass in the face thing that they do. JBL on commentary, always paying homage to Umaga and Rikishi and all that whenever they do the ass in the face. There's your legacy, putting your ass in somebody's face. Oh, Jesus Christ. Huge clothesline by Anderson. Gallows tosses Jay into the rail on the outside. Suicide dive by Jimmy, because Jay's basically out. Jimmy eats the ring post on the outside head first. Boot by Gallows to Jimmy, and the Magic Killer by Gallows and Anderson gets the win. They drag Jay back into the ring, and each one of them is just sitting there with basically a broken Uso in their lap, giving them beats with the punching and all that sort of thing. Roman Reigns comes out to make the predictable save. He Supermans over everybody, tosses Gallows and Anderson out of the ring. Now, here's the deal. I know that the Bullet Club, whatever these guys are going to call themselves, are the baby faces in the fans' eyes. But in the eyes of the WWE, you want the Roman Empire, whatever the fuck they're going to call that, to be the good guys, because you want Roman Reigns to be your big bad baby face. And if these guys are coming in as, you know, these badasses from Japan or wherever they were, whatever they were doing, you want them to be seen as, you want, at least at the moment, to be seen as heels. AJ Styles had a match. His buddies were there, but they didn't interfere. The Usos had a match against Gallows and Anderson. They got their asses handed to them 2-on-2, but Roman Reigns, the big bad babyface, is the one that's going to get a 3-on-2 advantage. It doesn't work. And if you're going to push Roman and the Usos as a heel team, it's very messy. It's very, very... I mean, it's cool. It's got me wondering what the fuck they're going to do Sunday, but it's very messy. We get a big, long video package about Owens and Zayn and their history, which is great, but mostly it's just clips from NXT. Next up, we have Zayn versus Rusev, with Lana in Rusev's corner, and Jesus Christ, not that this is not the understatement of the century, but goddamn, Lana looked good tonight. Holy shit. Boots and punches by Rusev, and stomps on the chest, choking the rope by Rusev, and a snapmare forearms by Zayn, taking a lesson clearly from AJ Styles, which is fine. Kitchen sink by Rusev, head scissor by Zayn, and a side headlock. Shoulder tackle by Rusev, and Zayn dumps Rusev outside of the ring. Suicide dive by Zayn is caught by Rusev, and for the second time tonight, a little guy gets face planted on the apron, which makes me smile because I'm a terrible person. Moonsault off the rail by Zayn is nice. Flying leg lariat by Rusev is equally impressive for a guy his size. Zayn is on the top rope. Rusev kicks him in. This is, for a guy Rusev's size, I got to give him a little bit of credit here. I give a lot of shit to the League of Nations and all the members that are in it, but this is pretty good. You got Zayn on the top turnbuckle ready to do something. Rusev gets himself up to kick Zayn in the head on the top turnbuckle and knock him out to the outside. It's a messy looking fall because the little guys are apparently really good at that. They're all taking Ziggler lessons is what's happening here. Commercial break. Front face lock by Rusev as we come back, and 2 or 3 gut wrench suplexes. Clothesline by Zayn, forearms and another clothesline. Top rope crossbody by Zayn, Samoan drop by Rusev, bicycle kick by Rusev. And then Rusev, looking dominant for a lot of this match, locks in the accolade, and out of nowhere, Zayn reverses it into a roll-up and gets the win for reasons. Owens attacks Zayn on the ramp on the way out, but it's like, if Zayn had gotten a definitive victory, an impressive, dominant victory, and then got attacked by Owens, oh my god, he stole his moment away, all that sort of thing, I would like it a lot more. But Zayn doesn't look very strong here. He's an exciting guy to watch, don't get me wrong. I like what the guy does in the ring. But the way the match went and the way the match ended, he got his ass handed to him, and he squeaked out a victory. And after that, another big guy comes along and just clobbers him on the entranceway. So I like Zayn. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on Zayn, guys. But this was not the best way to present him. And I know I'm handing an argument to all the guys that say, oh, WWE ruins all the NXT talent. Rah. Speaking of NXT talent, we've got Stardust versus Apollo Crews. You guys get the joke there. Side headlock by Crews and a shoulder tackle and a dropkick. Neckbreaker through the ropes by Stardust. And Stardust pulls off the Orton stomp, which makes me smile. Both men trade punches. 2 kitchen sinks by Stardust. A snapmare and a seated abdominal stretch by Stardust. But from here on in, this is Apollo Crews mowing over Stardust. 2 straight right hands, a clothesline, a boot, a splash, a back elbow, a springboard moonsault, an enziguri, and a toss powerbomb get the win for Apollo Crews. Titus O'Neil is involved in a draw. If you win this draw that they're doing in WWE, you can go to Universal Studios Orlando and hang out with Titus O'Neil and his family. What was Titus O'Neil doing before he got suspended? Oh yeah, he was in a rivalry with Stardust, wasn't he? Who's fighting Apollo? Yeah, bye Titus. Bye. Just bye. Ambrose comes out. Basically talks some shit to Jericho about Sunday. Jericho comes out, talks some shit back, and the only thing in Jericho's promo that's actually really true, I elevate every opponent I face. You should thank me. You should be on your hands and knees kissing my feet. You should apologize to me now or you'll be sorry. Ambrose's response is, I am sorry. I'm sorry for your expensive, ugly-ass shoes. I'm sorry about your scarf. I'm sorry about your Bon Jovi haircut, which popped me. I'm sorry that you're an insecure egomaniac. I'm sorry that you've pissed me off, and I'm sorry that I'm going to have to beat you on Sunday. But I'm not sorry about this. They brawl. Ambrose gets the upper hand until Jericho trips him, and he smokes his face off of one of the monitors on the commentary table. Jericho takes the opportunity to lock him in the walls of Jericho on the commentator table, a la what he did to Triple H many moons ago, which makes me smile. Match I'm looking forward to on Sunday, although I really couldn't tell you why. NXT, here we go. Here we go, and here we go. I don't know if I'm even going to do an NXT review this week, guys, because I already know what happens in the main event of this week's NXT. They announced that this week on NXT, we're going to see the match that everybody's been talking about since last week, because last Thursday, at a house show, Samoa Joe beat Finn Balor for the NXT Championship, which is great, which opens up a lot of creative opportunities for both guys. Opens up a whole new door for Samoa Joe. He gets the belt that he deserves. As far as Finn Balor goes, he can stay there. He can have a rematch and build that story, or he can come to Raw. He can do the Bullet Club thing. He can come in on his own. He can come be the Demon. He can be rockstar douchebag Finn Balor that I like. It's great. First of all, you did it on a house show, which I get. If you need Finn Balor for this coming Sunday, you needed to get the belt off him. You needed to do it quickly. And you didn't want him to come up to the main roster still holding the NXT Championship, because we see how that went with Kevin Owens. Now, the other side of that is the whole, you want to push, hey guys, this title change happened on a house show. It'll encourage more people to go to house shows. You got to go to house shows because anything can happen. That much I get, which is fun, which is cool. But that effect is lost completely if you give that away on television. If you want to sell, you got to come to house shows because you never know what'll happen and you don't want to miss anything. But it's going to be on the WWE Network, then that all goes out the window. Now, in the quasi-internet-based world that we're in right now, anybody that follows the internet knows that this match happened, knows who won, knows that Samoa Joe is the new champion. But you still want to kayfabe it up a little bit if you're advertising it for Wednesday. They advertise it for Wednesday, the match that everybody's talking about, but they show in the ad Samoa Joe holding up the belt all victorious and leaving the arena. So what the fuck is the point? Oh yes, NXT, you do a lot of good shit, but this doesn't make sense at all. Period. Oh yes. Natty versus Emma, which is good because we got Charlotte and Rick on the outside, and this is the only women's match we have tonight, and this is the only women's match, and there's no Naomi, which makes me a happy kid. Natty versus Emma, hot heel Emma back up on the main roster, I like it. Charlotte and Rick on commentary. I could do without this feud that we've got coming up on Sunday, realistically I could do without. We got no Paige, no Becky, no Sasha on the show. No Paige, no Becky, no Sasha. on the show on Sunday, but we'll do the best with what we have. Front face lock by Natty to start, an armbar by Emma. Takedown by Natty and an armbar by Natty. You know, the whole anything you can do, I can do better. I like that storyline a lot. Back elbow by Emma and a trip on the apron. Double underhook suplex on the floor by Emma. Full Nelson by Emma, but then while she's in the full Nelson, she walks Natty over to the turnbuckle and bashes her face into the turnbuckle a couple times, following it up with a clothesline. There's a great moment where the crowd, and I agree with the crowd, don't get me wrong, but the crowd starts chanting, "We want Sasha," which is fine, but in rhythm with that, Emma starts chanting, "She's not here." So instead of the dueling crowd chants, you've got the crowd versus Emma saying, "We want Sasha, she's not here," from Emma, which is fucking great. And because Natty is playing the role of John Cena tonight, sharpshooter out of nowhere gets her the win. Now, trust me, I understand, before you guys get me down in the comment section below, I understand she's the #1 contender for the title, whether we like it or not. So she's got to look strong going into Sunday. I had no indications or no hopes and desires whatsoever that Emma was going to win this match. I didn't. I love Emma. Emma's fucking great. Hot heel Emma. The commentators, when she was coming down to the ring, say that she, you know, we saw her on Raw a while ago, and then she disappeared for a while and came back with her time going back in NXT was her disappearing. Now, I could understand if she left WWE and spent some time in TNA, you could say that she disappeared for a while, like they did with Sting. But she went back down to NXT, which is your guys' fucking product. But anyways, they put over her new attitude, which is great. She looked great in this match. Now, if Natty had somewhat of a, you know, she got beat down, and then she had sort of a come up and sort of a hulking up and a comeback in the match, and then locked in the sharpshooter. It would have been cool, but like Emma had this dueling chant with the crowd, and then it was like sharpshooter out of nowhere, which is shit, really, isn't it? They did show a tribute video for China. It was very nice, and as a lot of people have said, the parts that are hardest to watch are the parts, obviously, with DX, because that's a little uncomfortable, and the stuff that she did with Eddie Guerrero, which was a lot of fun, and it just makes you sit back and say, fuck, it's been 11 years, I think, don't quote me, just don't, if I got the dates wrong, don't fuck me up on this one, but it's been like, what, 11 years, something like that, since we lost Eddie. We just lost China as well. It's depressing as fuck. I'm not gonna dwell on that. I said what I needed to say in the last video. You guys can check it out if you want. But, yeah, for whatever political shit people want to throw out there, oh, WWE should do this, WWE should do that, WWE are assholes, you know, they should have done this and that and the next thing. Put that on the shelf for a second. You watch this video and it's just fucking sad, and that's all. You know, you got all the news stories that are coming out this week. Oh, new evidence and new facts are surfacing about the passing of China. It's like, she's gone, guys. Like let it lie. I don't want to say I don't care, as in I don't care about her passing away, but like the nitty gritty details, like and what WWE should do or not do, like there comes a point where we got to put that on the shelf and just sort of sit with it and say, you know what, this kind of fucking sucks, and move on, and move on. We did. Because after we come back from commercial break, I hear music that I haven't heard in a long time, because lo and behold, we have a Sandow sighting. Damien Sandow sitting in the ring. The commentators are not even talking about Damien Sandow. They're talking about the path of destruction that Baron Corbin has been doing recently. So it's like, okay, Baron Corbin is going to come out and he's going to squash Damien Sandow, which is fine. As Baron Corbin's music starts up, we get the announcement, you know, it's a layup, but Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler is also going to happen at Payback. All the bright white lights of Baron Corbin's entrance have been replaced by red lights. Not sure how I feel about that just yet. Didn't really have a chance to sit back and make an opinion about it because he gets blindsided by Ziggler. And they brawl, and that's the end of the segment. So if you're Damien Sandow, I just have to say... Miz and Maurice come out to talk about fighting Cesaro on Sunday for the Intercontinental Championship. Starts making fun of the fans. You guys are delusional enough to think that he's going to beat me. He starts talking about the celebrity benefits of having the Miz as the Intercontinental Champion. Talks about the history of the Intercontinental Championship, including his previous reigns. Mocks the Cesaro section as all being internet trolls, which is great. Cesaro comes out. And here's the thing, guys. I said it I think I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again here. Cesaro, great wrestler. I know he's got a following. He deserves it for what he can do in the ring. But Cesaro cannot cut a fucking promo to save his life. What did he stick in there? He stuck in the, your gimmick as an actor, the movie you belong in is Jackass. Ha, ha, ha. And I'm going to make the credits roll on your story this Sunday. Ha, ha, ha. Fuck off. Miz cheap shots him, Cesaro hits him with an uppercut. Maurice lies down on the Miz to keep Cesaro from doing the Cesaro swing, which makes me smile. Don't give Cesaro a mic. I mean, we do. We shit, and we should shit, but we shit on people for giving Roman Reigns the microphone. And rightfully so. Don't give Cesaro a microphone. He's got the whole fucking James Bond gimmick going on that doesn't work for me. He's got the tearaway suit like he's from fucking Chippendales. He can come out and be a wrestler and be an awesome wrestler, and some guys just shouldn't talk. They figured it out with Brock Lesnar. They figured it out with, The Undertaker before he became, better on the mic. They gave him Paul Bearer, and there's lots of people, they gave Jack Swagger Zeb Coulter. Like, why haven't they figured it out for Cesaro? Cesaro's fantastic in the ring. Don't let me take anything away from the guy in the ring, but when he comes out and he's cutting promos, he's making these lame-ass jokes, and it's just no good. But Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio is our main event. Before that, we hear another match has been added to Payback, to the kickoff, because of the victory last week on SmackDown, which I didn't get a chance to review. Ryback gets another shot at Kalisto and the United States Championship in the kickoff once again. Now, he was in an interview a couple weeks ago talking about how the U.S. title should be seen as more prestigious. He and the U.S. title both deserve to be on the main card. So, of course, he's on the pre-show again. The one that loses in that scenario is the current champion, Kalisto, isn't it? Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio. We start with a collar and elbow tie-up and a shoulder tackle by Roman, boot by Alberto Del Rio, and they trade punches and 3 Irish whips by Roman Reigns. Headbutt by Roman and a running enziguri by Alberto Del Rio. Double stomp when Roman bails for a second to catch his breath. Alberto Del Rio jumps off the apron, hits a double stomp into the small of Roman Reigns' back, which looks painful and awkward as fuck. As we go to commercial break, Alberto Del Rio rides a headlock and finishes off with a kick in the spine, kicks, pie faces, and some Daniel Bryan silly kicks in the corner by Alberto Del Rio. Multiple headbutts by Roman and a DDT by Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio on the ground, shaking off the effects of the headbutt, selling psychology. It's good shit. 3 clotheslines by Roman Reigns, and then the 10 clotheslines in the corner. Uppercut and a drive-by into the post. Here we go. Now, you want to talk about guys like Cena and Roman not selling shit, right? And I get it, because it is annoying. I've ripped Cena on this. I rip Roman for it occasionally. Alberto Del Rio I like, but they missed a stick here, because not only does he hit the drive-by on Alberto Del Rio, but he hits it close to the corner, so that when he hits the drive-by, he's driving Alberto Del Rio's head into the post. Now, Roman Reigns, I'm going to say 6'5", 275, and that's a guess. Full force, full body weight into both of his feet, into Alberto Del Rio's head, into a steel post. Should that not end the match? Even in my video games over there, that will bust you open. But no, Alberto Del Rio comes back up and kicks he gets in the ring first, for reasons, but then as Roman's getting into the ring, he does the whole typical heel thing. He doesn't kick him in the balls. He kicks the rope so that the rope hits him in the balls, which makes me smile. Super kick that beat Cena by Alberto Del Rio gets kicked out of, obviously, by Roman Reigns. The super kick that beat John Cena. The super kick to the face. The seated super kick that took the U.S. title off the waist of John fucking Golden Boy Cena. Roman Reigns kicks out. Alberto Del Rio locks him in the tree of woe, but misses the stomp. Hits the Superman punch, but he's distracted by Anderson and Gallows music. Anderson and Gallows music is pretty mediocre at this point. I hope they change it up at some point. But they're not really in the ring yet. They're just sort of out there watching the proceedings, as it were, letting their music play, letting the music be a distraction. Roman says, "Oh yeah, I forgot, I'm Roman Reigns." Hits a quick spear, gets the win over Alberto Del Rio. Like I said, say. Not a good night to be anybody from the League of Nations. Beatdown ensues by Anderson and Gallows. It's broken up by AJ. Roman Reigns spears AJ, so they all go after Roman again. Superman punches for everybody, spears for everybody, forearm by AJ. Everybody's down. The commentators do their best to play up all the confusion in this scenario, and the show just ends without a single sign of the one guy that everybody thought they were surely going to see tonight in Finn Balor. And yeah, the two guys we thought we were going to see tonight. I mean, I can't even say this was a good show. This was a functional show. It moved all the parts on the board. Like, it moved all the pawns. There we go. First day with my new tongue. It moved all the pawns across the chessboard to get us to payback. But there weren't any risky moves made. We acknowledged the U.S. title. We acknowledged the Intercontinental title. We acknowledged the tag team tournament. We acknowledged the women's match. We acknowledged the story surrounding the main event. We acknowledged Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. We acknowledged Ambrose and Jericho. We acknowledged Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. But that's all we did. This was... You guys know me. I'm usually the quintessential WWE upbeat, positive, sort of apologist guy, but this was 3 hours of, oh yeah, by the way, this is happening on Sunday. Oh yeah, by the way, this is happening on Sunday. Oh yeah, by the way, this is happening on Sunday. Oh yeah, by the way, this is happening on Sunday. And they're all, this is the thing, and this is where people don't like me, because there are certain matches that I don't care how bad the story is, I'm still looking forward to the match. We've got a lot of those coming up this Sunday. I'm looking forward to the women's match in the ring. I don't care about the story, but in the ring it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to Owens and Zayn. I'm looking forward to Jericho and Ambrose. I'm looking forward to Corbin and Ziggler, believe it or not. I'm looking forward to the tag team story, where it's going to go. I'm really looking forward to, not necessarily the main event, but where the main event is going to take us in the future. I'm looking forward to this whole scenario between Shane and the Authority. I'm looking forward to all those things, despite the fact that WWE did not give me any reason to look forward to any of those things. So I'm very conflicted. This is a very conflicted Raw review, so I don't know what to tell you guys. But, and I have to say it one more time, no Naomi on this show. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Tell me what you are thinking going into Payback. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.